What happened around the Linda Mwananchi activities in Homa Bay is deeply disturbing, and it raises a very serious question. Why are we still allowing political rallies in Kenya to turn into scenes of violence, injuries, and even death? The Linda Mwananchi movement had announced its Homa Bay rally for August 16, 2026, and organizers had formally notified the police. In fact, the police had assured them that security arrangements would be put in place for the event. But even before the rally, tensions were already arising. There were reports of attacks against people associated with the movement. 6 youths were arrested after an alleged attack on Linda Mwananchi rally planners, and the arrests were followed by protests and disruption of businesses in Homa Bay town. And this is where the story becomes extremely worrying, because political competition is supposed to be about ideas, policies, and convincing voters. It's not supposed to be about hiring young people to fight. It's not supposed to be about blocking roads. It's not supposed to be about attacking political opponents. And it certainly should never be about people losing their lives. Kenya has seen political violence around Linda Mwananchi activities before. In Kisii, one person was killed and several others were injured when a convoy associated with the movement was attacked. Earlier in Bale, Vihiga County, another man was killed amid clashes surrounding a Linda Mwananchi rally. So when you see another political confrontation developing in Homa Bay, Kenyans have every reason to be concerned. But let's ask a very simple question. Why can't politicians simply allow each other to campaign? If Linda Mwananchi wants to hold a rally in Homa Bay, let them hold their rally. Let them speak to the people. Let them explain their agenda. Let the people listen. And when they're finished, let politicians supporting the government come and hold their own rally. They can also speak to the people. They can explain why Kenyans should support President William Ruto. They can criticize Edwin Sifuna, James Orengo, Babu Wino, or anyone else, and then let the people decide. That's what democracy is supposed to look like. You don't defeat your political opponent by sending goons to disrupt their meeting. You defeat them by presenting a better argument. You defeat them by offering better policies. You defeat them by convincing the voter that your leadership is better, not by violence. And there is another disturbing part of this story. There have been public accusations that groups were being mobilized to disrupt the Linda Mwananchi rally. Before the Homa Bay event, Linda Mwananchi leaders themselves warned about alleged plans to block routes and intimidate supporters. Of course, allegations are allegations and they must be properly investigated. But if there's credible evidence that people are being organized to cause violence at political rallies, then security agencies must act. And they must act before people die, not after. There have also been controversial political statements from leaders on both sides. Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma, for example, publicly warned the Linda Mwananchi team ahead of its planned rally, while a local MCA also issued a controversial warning concerning people wearing Linda Mwananchi branded clothing. And if politicians are captured on camera making statements that can reasonably be interpreted as encouraging people to confront or attack their political opponents, those statements deserve serious scrutiny. Nobody should be above the law. Not an ordinary youth, not an MCA, not an MP, not a governor, not a senator, and certainly not the president. Because when a politician tells young people to fight, the politician can go home safely. It's usually the young people who end up injured, arrested, or dead. And this brings me to something else that's incredibly sad. Our young people are being used as political weapons. Imagine a young Kenyan struggling to find a job, struggling to pay rent, struggling to put food on the table, struggling with school fees. Then someone comes along and gives that young person a little money to go and fight another Kenyan. For what? A politician's political interests? The politician will probably go home in a convoy. The young person is the one standing in the street. The young person is the one who can be hit by a stone. The young person is the one who can be arrested. The young person is the one who can lose an eye, or worse, lose his life. Is that really worth a few thousand shillings? Kenyan politicians should stop turning poverty into a political weapon. Our young people deserve jobs, opportunities, and dignity. They should not be recruited to become professional political fighters. And we also need to remember Kenya's recent political history. During the administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto traveled across different parts of the country campaigning for his political ambitions, including areas where he faced strong political opposition. He wasn't subjected to the kind of political violence Linda Mwananchi team is facing. The broader lesson here is political opponents must be allowed space to campaign. If we demand that freedom when our side is in opposition, we must also respect it when our opponents are the ones campaigning. Because political power changes hands. The people who are powerful today may be in opposition tomorrow, and the people who are being attacked today may one day be the people controlling the government. That's why democracy needs rules that protect everyone, not just those currently in power. The government has a responsibility to protect political gatherings, regardless of who is organizing them. The opposition also has a responsibility to ensure its supporters remain peaceful. And political leaders on all sides must stop making reckless statements that can inflame tensions. Kenya has already lost too many lives to political violence. We should not be normalizing it again. A rally should end with politicians arguing about ideas, not families preparing for funerals. A campaign should produce votes, not hospital patients. And political competition should produce better leaders, not dead young people. So, whether you support Linda Mwananchi, the government, ODM, UDA, or any other political movement, there's one thing we should all agree on. No Kenyan should have to die because of politics. Let politicians compete. Let them insult each other's policies if they must. Let them debate. Let them campaign. Let them convince voters. But let the people attend political rallies in peace. Because at the end of the day, these politicians will still sit in parliament. They will still have security. They will still have access to resources. But the ordinary Kenyan who gets injured or killed in a political clash may never get another chance. And that's why what happened in Homa Bay should not simply become another political headline that we forget after a few days. It should be a warning. Kenya must do better. Our politics must become about ideas, not intimidation. Our young people must become voters, entrepreneurs, workers, leaders, not political weapons. And every Kenyan, regardless of political affiliation, deserves the freedom to attend a rally, listen to a politician, and make their own decision without fear. Because democracy is not democracy when people are too afraid to participate in it. And Kenya belongs to all of us.